Following a couple of heavy days, I wish to elate the chamber. And I wish we're going to go on a journey, and I invite you all to come with me and feast your minds on a great tale, a tale of roads, Madam Speaker. So the curtain opens, and Madam Speaker, Troy is burning. The walls have fallen, and our noble hero Hector lay slain by Achilles after a day-long battle around the Trojan walls. They were so matched in combat that it took Aphrodite's hand to lay a stone under Hector's foot so that he would fall to bring the battle to conclusion. Achilles' body now burns, and he laments in the underworld, proclaiming, "I would rather be a poor farmer for one day than king of this underworld." Agamemnon, the great leader of the Greek army, lays slain in the bath after his wife has slain him. And General Odysseus, the mirror of nobleness to Hector, begins his 10-year journey back home. Now, Madam Speaker, we'll shift to the character we'll follow in this story. We will now follow the character Aeneas. Aeneas is a prince of Troy who, as the city burns and the chaos reigns, will flee with his father and young son. They will take a journey across the sea, and they arrived in a new land called Latium, which is central Italy. Aeneas and his lineage will go on and found cities throughout Latium for generations. The generations will come to a man named Numitor, Numitor being a direct descendant of that Trojan prince who fled. And he rules in a land called Alba Longa, which is the homeland of the Romans. Now, Numitor has a brother who is envious and jealous of his power, and he usurps Numitor. He forces Numitor's daughter, Rhea, into chastity and to be a priestess. Mars, the god Mars, comes down, and he has a child with Rhea. In fact, they have twins, Romulus and Remus. The usurping brother, now that he has heard of that the god of Mars, and Mars represents the fury of war, the opposing force to Aphrodite, who is everything good in war. Mars is the opposite. He is rage, vengeful, and bloodthirsty. And so the uncle fears the twins that will come from this god. So the boy's uncle orders they be drowned in the river Tiber. The boys are placed into a basket, and as they flow down the Tiber, they are struck by the root of a fig tree. And there is a she-wolf, Lupa. She-wolf Lupa is fierce. She's the carnivore of the night. And she takes the two boys, Romulus and Remus, and decides to nurse them. And so here we have the sons of what will be Rome nursing on the she-wolf. The she-wolf, when the boys are ready for speech, hands over care to a farmer, a very humble, hard-working farmer, and he is very loyal to the rightful king, Numitor.
Yes, I think I know where you might be going. What's your point of order, Leader of the Opposition?
Standing Order 110 in terms of relevance. Unless she-wolf Sheba is riding along a territory road and rather than a wolf pack, it's a dingo pack, I think I'd rather hear about investing in territory roads. And I am a very big fan of Greek mythology. I did Greek and ancient studies as a university degree, so I very much appreciate the way that the member for Drysdale is bringing in some culture and heritage, but I would love to see if Romulus comes to a territory road and how that would then affect the Greek mythology. So if we could stay on track so we can get some importance on territory roads, I would very much appreciate that direction from you, Madam Speaker.
I concur, Leader of the Opposition. I think everyone's allowed a certain amount of latitude in their contributions to these types of debates, but we need to get to some relevance, Member for Drysdale.
Absolutely. And I agree with the opposition leader on how important NT roads are. And I look forward to bringing Rome's relevance back to the territory. So the Good Shepherd Fastulus and his pious wife raised the boys who grow up and replace the usurping uncle and go on to found their own city. Now the boys argue on the founding of this city, and upon calling the gods, it turns out Romulus has picked the correct spot. But the argument continues, with Romulus slaying his brother Remus. And the city of Rome was founded. Now, we enter the monarchy period of Rome, which very little road building actually was conducted. We see street works, but we do not see an outward expansion of roads. And we do not see the expansion of commerce or of the Latin language and values and ideas. But in ushers a new period of the Republic. And in this period, in the second half of the Republic, we see Rome's great expanse of road building. And it's actually quite astonishing. And so you see the standard road come in at 4.1 metres, which is enough for a chariot on 2 ways. And as the Republic grows, initially for legions to march on, we see the flourishing of trade, and that's a really important aspect. So trade begins to flourish throughout the Roman Republic. As time goes on, engineering feats become even more spectacular as they encounter the need to build bridges, tunnels, and as you enter into the Roman Empire period, you see it hit its full stride. With 400,000 kilometres of road, 80,000 kilometres of the 4.1 metres paved roads with drainage systems. To put that in perspective, from Darwin to Alice is 1,497 kilometres. They had their 400,000 kilometre network was 267 Darwin to Alice Springs, and 53 Darwin to Alice Springs of fully paved 4.1 metre highways. It's quite impressive. Now, what did this allow for? It allowed for military dominance, the spread of ideas, and the explosion of Christianity across Europe was enabled by the Roman road network. We see communications, we see trade, and the important pieces which are very relevant to the Northern Territory is the integration of economies, the integration of different cultures and peoples. We see urban growth, and we see heightened health outcomes as well in urban centres as grain supplies into the cities become far more reliable. We even see the beginning of holidays and holiday destinations. We see an explosion of arts as now artists can travel all across the empire. The expression, all roads lead to Rome, is founded in this. Now, to our great Northern Territory. And we are a place so unique that we are in many ways far more ancient than Rome. Far, far more ancient than Rome. Yet, at the same time, we are a new and young people. And this is an extremely unique position we hold in the world. Like ancient Rome did, I believe we can prosper through a strong and resilient road network. I believe we can connect all our communities, and I would love to see the day where every Territorian can travel on a safe, sealed road that is reliant to the harsh conditions we also encounter. But more so, it is that spread of commerce, it is the spread of trade, it is the spread of art, and it is the spread of ideas that travel with a strong road network. And in this way, I think we can outdo even great empires of the past with what we can achieve. So we can usher in great knowledge to be spread across the Northern Territory. We can bring food security, health security, jobs, wages, skills, economic growth. This is all possible through our roads network. And like Rome too, with defence being such a strong part of the Northern Territory economy, we can send clear messages to any foe anywhere in the world that our defence force will use those roads and we will defend the north if need be. But I think, as the Treasurer spoke, we should also heed the warnings, especially of the later Roman Empire, which saw overspending, saw the printing of money, which caused rampant inflation. And this rampant inflation caused essentially economic collapse, which we then see the ending of the empire in the late 5th century. And so that's an important warning, and the Treasurer has touched on it today. We find ourselves now in a precarious economic situation here in the Northern Territory. And we must build roads, but we must not indebt ourselves to a point of no return. And I think that's an important lesson we must heed. So I commend the Treasurer on his plan. I stand firmly with him. I believe we can continue to deliver on the growth of our great Northern Territory, and that I know the best days are well in front of us, and the investment in roads will help usher in a golden period for the Northern Territory and its people. And like Rome, may all roads lead to the Northern Territory here for our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.